2023 will end on 123,123. Follow-on shower thought. Every sequence is rare. This is just one we find meaningful because we yearn for some kind of cosmic order. 311,223 for almost everywhere in the world. Our US defaultism is strong with this one. Whatever makes American happy, only in America. It will end on 311,223 everywhere else. 336th time I've seen this shower thought this year. Still only true for people who write dates the stupidest way imaginable. What I live at will end on 311,223. Americans are weird. Why month first? 20,231,231 according to ISO 8601. Doesn't that depends where you are in the world? No, it will end 311,223. A little girl says to her mother, "Mommy, when you were away at work a strange lady came around." Little boy finds his parents in bed. "Why are you bouncing on Daddy?" A little embarrassed, Mom says, "You know, Daddy's tummy is inflated like a balloon, so I'm trying to get some air out of it." "Nah," says the boy, "it's useless." Smiling, both asked, "Really? And why that?" "Because every Saturday, when you are at the gym, Mrs. Jones from the 4th floor comes to blow air back in." "What? Mommy helped Uncle jack off a horse?" "Oh no. Ha 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 ha, how the turntables." "It's always Vancouver." "Vancouver represent." "Wow, didn't see the mom sleeping with her brother coming." Plot twist, Jack was her maternal uncle. Fucking Vancouver. "Yeah, ha ha ha, I get it. She slept with her brother." Smiley face, embarrassed smiley face. A married couple and a single man are stranded on a deserted island after their cruise ship sinks. Long NSFW. Mildly funny, but you get bonus points for having a joke I have never heard. Climbs to the top of tree. "The only thing I see is two dead motherfuckers down there." Weird. "A few nights ago my wife and I were getting pretty wild and these things were really heating up. She said, 'Steve, get your dick out of my ass.' I told her, 'Just try to relax, you might enjoy it.' Said, 'What the hell is Steve even doing here anyway?'" Nice retelling of the ninth tale of the seventh day in Decameron. Not to be pedantic, but this is a modern version of a bawdy story, The Enchanted Pear Tree from Boccaccio's Decameron Day 7, Story 9, which Chaucer then retold in his Merchant's Tale. Here's a 1968 animated version of the tale with outrageous French accents. "Hi, I am L from Escaping Twin Flames. So honestly I would love if you could write out how all of the obvious signs that outsiders are seeing now landed for you in real time. Like, when you hear everything all at once it is batshit insane, but I know that isn't how it works in real life. How did they roll out each new piece of information? Is it like in Scientology where they don't get into the weird stuff directly unless someone has already become invested into the cult? 2. What? In the HBO doc about Love Is One, Mother God and or others mention twin flames a couple times. Is there any connection you are aware of between the two cults? How you doing? How has it been forming relationships since leaving? What is with all the downvotes in here? Are the cults showing up? Or is there something that I am missing? What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned from this experience? What an odd post. Are you okay? How are people affording life right now? No desire to buy anything. No kids. I grew up poor so I know how to live frugally, and when I increased my income I didn't fall in the same trap a lot of people do with lifestyle creeps, so my income goes up but my expenses barely change, which allows me to save. That savings allows me to buy things in bulk, which usually gets me better pricing, or pay things like in 6-12-month installments versus a monthly basis, which usually offers better pricing, which all helps in saving more money as well. By living with relatives who have houses. It's embarrassing but it is what it is. Extreme budgeting. It's like skydiving. But instead of jumping out of a plane, you're just trying to make it to the end of the month without your bank balance turning negative. Adrenaline rush guaranteed. Internet prostitution. Single, replaced eat out with evening walks, and eat irregularly. The savings do add up. People who ask to open their relationship as a last-ditch attempt to save a dead bedroom. What happened next? It's not equitable. One partner utilizes this option to its full extent and the other either loses interest in the novelty of it or isn't as successful in their pursuits as they thought they'd be. Well, if you must know, they ended up getting married and I got kicked out of my own house. I get no respect, I tell you, no respect. My ex-wife liked to do that without my knowledge or participation. I've done the open relationship thing successfully, and I think it's safe to say that it's not a solution to a problem like that. If you want to heal your own relationship, you focus on that. If your wife doesn't want to fuck you, she certainly isn't going to get more interested when she realizes you're texting some other horny person instead of paying attention to her. Both ended up waking up on a different bedroom with different partners. Divorce. How long have you two been together? Rich people is more class conscious than working class. They protect their interest, Lobby and protect their class. Working people are kind of busy, working, you know. They divide us by intention. You have more in common with your neighbor that votes the opposite of you than you do anyone 1,000 times wealthier than you are. The rich elite have time and funding to lobby and protect their class. Working class folk are busy working. Not a commie. The fact that you had to add that is proof that propaganda is in their favor. Everything left of leaving people out in the elements is considered communism, even though there are a bunch of steps before that, and even that isn't inherently bad. There's class warfare, alright, but it's my class, the rich class, that's making war, and we're winning. Warren Buffett. The wealthy absolutely abhor egalitarianism. This is the reason healthy capitalism requires firm regulation and consumer oversight. Roko's basilisk is too contradictory to be frightening. I, for one, welcome our new robot overlords. Does that about cover it? Sounds like something a basilisk would say. The problem I have with the Roko's basilisk theory is that we assume the AI would go out of its way to do this. It's a hyper-intelligent sentient AI. Why do we think it would be as petty as others? The fact that if we assume it's that petty, what qualifies as contributing to its creation? How much do you have to contribute? It's an interesting thought experiment and nothing more. It seems more like an analogy for religious belief than a genuine hypothesis about the real world. I preferred his modern life. There are 3,903 basilisks, super jealous of one another. Each will punish you forever for not helping it come into being. Pick one. Sir, this is a Wendy's. I've read this before. This is a copy-paste. I liked him better in Harry Potter. Santa Claus has list of addresses of all evil people and he refuses to share it with police. Not evil, just naughty. Santa ain't no snitch. Santa knew Rudolph was being bullied and did nothing to stop it. Just naughty kids though. Naughty isn't always illegal. Well, the cops would be on that list, so OFC he wouldn't share it with them. Only the kids, and there are laws against naming minors. Santa breaks into billions of homes. Santa is the bad guy, bro. Thanks for reminding me to set up the claymores in the chimney. When 90 of the naughty list are filled with police, maybe Santa is only spying on children, so he only knows where the bad children are. Maybe a lot of the police is on the naughty list. He probably appreciated the transition to the digital age more than most. Till chatouche, the most expensive fabric on earth, is totally illegal to own. Chatouche is made from the hair of the chiro, an endangered Tibetan antelope. Aside from its rarity, the real reasons chatouche was and still is the object of so much desire are its ultra-soft texture and extremely fine threads. Not just kinda illegal to own, like any city police officer knows that law, much less knows how to identify Tibetan antelope fur. I thought this was going to be about sea silk, another ultra-rare fabric made from the secretions of a particular clam found in the Mediterranean. I couldn't remember the name of it. Sea silk. Till that because Canada doesn't allow businesses to run for-profit games of pure chance, all contests including a mathematical skill testing question that must be answered correctly to win a prize. Similar in the UK. If it's done on pure luck, it's a lottery, and so has to be registered as such. If there's a question, it's a competition. So we get questions like, what is opposite of a king? Is it a dog, bee, queen, or sea airplane? I'm not 100 sure on the UK law, but I think we have something similar. All the phone and things have ridiculously easy questions. It'll be things like, which of these pastries means crescent in French? And the answers to choose from will be croissant, ham, and Silvio Berlusconi. Even better, since pair equations lead to ambiguity, many of them now partially or fully parenthesize parts of the expression. Till unknown to Johnny Cash when he recorded it, Ring of Fire was written by June Carter about falling in love with him and her torment because she was married to someone else. She sang back up on Cash's version. Years later, when they were both divorced, they met again and eventually married. Anytime someone brings up people who didn't write their hits, I bring up Johnny. I feel old AF when things like this are not common knowledge. Flushed face. Unironically, Johnny Cash wrote Walk the Line as a song about resisting temptation for his first wife, Vivian Liberto. The woman he eventually left for June Carter was the better writer. In my dreams you're blowing me, some kisses. LOL. I had heard, and never questioned, that it was about eating very spicy food. He was not the first to record it. Till an international chess master tried to advance his career in 1951 by playing against 30 Russian school children at the same time. In the end, he drew 10 and lost the other 20, setting the record for worst simultaneous chess playing in the world. Should have chosen a different country. Chess is way bigger in Russian schools than in the West. He is biased against the played against 30 children at a chess academy, basically 30 of the best up-and-coming chess players in the country, and possibly the advance his career is subjective. It was something he did as a part of his career technically, but he wasn't even there to play those games. He did it because he had nothing else to do in Moscow. I could break that record easily. I'd lose to all 30. Simpsons relevant as always. Till in 1938, Chiang Kai-shek caused the deadliest man-made flood in history when he intentionally broke the Yellow River Dam. While he did succeed in his goal of slowing down the Japanese advance, it ended up killing 400,893,303 people in the process. That is a very specific range. Feel like Chinese history just reads like Chinese historical figure moves a stick and 500 bajillion people die as a result. This was apparently also one of the major events which gave the communists enough support to win the Civil War. This is going to sound terrible, but I would not be surprised if, in the end, breaking the dam resulted in fewer deaths. I could absolutely see an even slightly more successful Japanese advance killing is like the top tier of trolley problems. Least violent Chinese skirmish. Till in Shanghai every weekend there is a marriage market. Parents and grandparents of unmarried adults gather in a park and trade information on their grandchildren height, weight, income, occupation, with the goal to find them a suitable partner. Please don't tell my parents this info. This is like an Indian parent's wet dream. It happens in every Chinese city. I was in Shanghai for business. One weekend I went to the park exploring and stumbled across this. Hundreds of elderly folks lined up with umbrellas laying down on their sides and letters taped to them. I had no clue what they were doing, and once I found out I couldn't imagine what they thought of me. A 6 feet 2 inches wide American gawking at all of them curiously. Undercover journalism at the market. I saw this in Shanghai but had no idea what I was looking at. Jewish mother's gonna love Shanghai. There isn't much worse of a feeling than being lonely at night with no one to talk to. Lonely at night, the person you really need to talk to isn't alive anymore is pretty shitty too. Clearly you've never kicked the corner of a bed frame or couch really hard with a bare pinky toe. Is this a shower thought or just the reality of depression? Cause I know the feeling it's more of an all-day thought than a shower thought. Lol. Been feeling this a lot lately. The one close friend I have has been ghosting me recently and I find myself especially missing them at night when I'm alone with my thoughts. Yup. That's why I get drunk until I pass out and then start the whole process over again in the morning. Alright, I have to say I was being selfish in my thought. Truthfully, the worst emotional feeling there could be is the one you love dying. I can't think of anything worse than that. And sometimes, there are even people in the same room. But have been there, friend. Two Southern belles are talking, and the one says to the other, "It's bells, not bells." Two Southern ladies are speaking to each other and one says men are all. Second lady says yes, men are all. I like too. What do they call them? As often as they can. I thought it was a ding-dong joke. Two Southern belles are talking, and the one says to the boo-wong, suddenly Gollum, "Belle, my bad. You all got me in tears laughing." Missed a perfectly good Colonel Angus joke. Watson walks in on Sherlock having sex with a younger-looking girl. Watson, get back in the closet. No shit, Sherlock. I didn't see that coming. You got me well done. It was the ejaculates that got me. Like, Sherlock explained, but instead it said that. Lola always giggled while reading the books because everyone was ejaculating. Creepy AF. Gross. Holy crap, you realize those characters are English, right? The phrase elementary, my dear Watson, was never uttered by anyone in the entire Sherlock Holmes canon. Someone made it up in a non-canon story somewhere. Also, in the UK elementary school is called primary school, not elementary. Therefore your joke makes no sense. What do you call a sexuality when you're attracted to both men and women but they're not attracted to you? If you're bisexual, sometimes you date men, other times you date women. If you don't have a date, you're on standby. I have sex twice a year, so that is called bianally. I had a cousin who was trisexual, ambidextrous, hopefully polysolitary, perhaps an homosexual? Because you ain't getting it no mo. I'm sure they're bilingual too, biologically ugly, no bitches. Ha, single. They call that bisexual. Womp womp. Clever. Doc doc. It becomes a good byproduct. Trisexual. Pansexual. Unlucky. I personally always get horny while shopping. I think I'm bisexual. What habit slowly kills human? Worrying. People underestimate how much anxiety and stress can wreck your physical health over time. Not sleeping enough. Sedentary lifestyle. Stress. Thinking there's always more time. 80 years pass more quickly than you might imagine. Use it wisely. Falling into sloth, apathy, stress. How am I not seeing drinking alcohol anywhere? Smoking. Being in a toxic relationship. Breathing oxygen. Insufficient sleep. Chatbots trying to ask questions on Reddit. Processed food. What movie was so sad for you that you would never watch it again? Where the Red Fern Grows. Schindler's List. It's a must-see movie, but I can't imagine watching it more than once. Grave of the Fireflies. Manchester by the Sea. That one episode of Futurama. Life is Beautiful. Dear Zachary. $1 Million Baby. The best movie I never want to see again. Same answer as the last time. The boy in the striped pajamas. However, it's been derided for being a terribly inaccurate depiction of the Holocaust. So, woman shrugging up, what dreams may come. Never again, my girl. As a father, The End of the Mist. I love the movie, but have to turn it off at the end. Click by Adam Sandler. It was supposed to be a comedy. Saddest movie ever. What's the most annoying thing the human body just kinda does randomly? Hiccups. For me, it's when you almost fall asleep, then a sudden jolt of energy and makes your entire body shake. Upset stomach but can't shit. Times where you go from everything's okay straight to you got 10 seconds to find a toilet before you shit yourself in a matter of moments. Body, just to let you know, we're gonna need to take a shit. Brain, okay, cool, I'll take one when I get to a toilet in an hour or two, thanks. Body, I meant to tell you earlier, sorry bro. You have 45 seconds. Gotta go with only one nostril unclogging. Intense torso pain out of nowhere? Cool. Let's just wait for that to stop. Water down the wrong pipe. Now you're having a coughing choking fit because your body forgot how to drink water. Those deep ass bone itches. Like no matter how hard you scratch your skin, it doesn't scratch the itch. It's to the bone, man. Lamau. When you are a child, being in a bed alone in the dark is the scariest place you can be. When you are an adult, being in a bed alone in the dark is the least scary place you can be. In bed in the dark at night. Child, I'm alone with my dark thoughts. True, but anywhere else in the dark? Death. Unless you watch true crime podcasts before you go to sleep. Not necessarily in a hospital bed alone is scary, regardless of in bed at home alone wondering where your loved ones are does not make you feel safe. Different kinds of scary. Until you hear scratching in your closet. As a child you imagine you weren't alone. As an adult you imagined you were, but the general theme of my life persists. Very alone. No, being out on the woods alone in the dark is more scary than being in my bed. I legitimately expected the rest of this thought to be when you are an adult. Being in a bed alone in the dark is still a scary place to be. Who made the stupidest and most embarrassing mistake in history? My personal favorite is New Zealand Prime Minister Robert Muldoon getting drunk in his office one night and then calling a snap weeks later. His government was voted out of office. The guys that accidentally brought down the Berlin Wall by declaring at a press conference that the right of freedom to travel was effective immediately, which was not at all what the GDR's political party had wanted, which led to thousands of people rushing to and overwhelming the borders and in the end to the reunification of Germany. It was a small mistake but with a great outcome. Robert Akio killed millions and reduced the average IQ by nearly 3 for wrongly proclaiming lead safety use in paints, cars, etc. The Decca Records exec who decided that the Beatles were not worth signing.